Yo,
Ciao.
word, what up, internet world?
Hello to the people.
Yo, so check it out. This is an update with what we got going on. And if you don't already know us, Steve Grant,
Adam Warlok.
and if you ain't a part of this, then you ain't a part of this, and that's all good. Keep it scrolling, keep it moving. We're on some other shit. We have come to a conclusion and a realization that there's a brand new demand for what is, we feel, required from the people that are in our circle. And we're talking straight, raw, real to the ones that already get it. I'm not here to sugarcoat shit and break shit down, simple layman terms for certain things. You're either understanding where we're at already, or that's it, because there is a new line of division that's happening right now, and it's not necessarily from infighting and all the battling and all that. That's going to happen no matter what. It's a division of growth from those that are actually growing from this zone that we're in right now, whatever you need to call it and label it. But it is a transformational window that is an opportunity for all of us. And like my perspective currently has to be understood as far as like, I actually don't fuck with a lot of the shit that most people are fucking with, to be real with you. Like, I don't do the whole thing with like the obsession of the politicians and what they're saying every day and what they've been quoted and what they're doing on social media and all this stuff. And like, for those of you that are doing that, hey, do what you do. I'm just saying that's not where I'm at.
Right, we need to be beyond that system already. Like, for people who want to fuck with this concept, we have to be of the mind that things like voting, that's not one of the results. It's not one of the resolutions here. We're trying to move beyond these things because at the end of the day, we need to unify. That's number one, and we need to understand who the common enemy truly is, because we have people who don't know themselves, and the world is lost in all this misinformation right now, which is obviously by design. And we need to create a hub where we can use our creative expression to navigate this sinister world. You guys know, at the end of the day, it's warlocks and wizards who are running the show. This is basically magic. We don't really know what we're up against at the end of the day. So we're doing the best that we can with what we have. But as you can see from the manipulation and the corruption and everything that's going on a grand scale, the world is in a bad spot right now, and we need to, the only way to make it better is if we each can make ourselves better and then bring that better version of ourselves into the future, which is always going to be the present.
And a lot of people don't want to fucking hear that. And I understand why, actually. I get it. I get, at some level, that would bother me and annoy me too to even know that. But this external shit and all this shit that you think you need to be putting your energy into, all these things out here that are demanding your energy, that's not where it's supposed to be. That's not where it's supposed to be. And who am I? Who are we? Well, we're only people that have only gone far enough to where we know we can take others as far as where we've taken ourselves, bro. And I'll tell you right now, I know all about whatever vaccine is coming and chemtrails and all this bullshit and the poison here and 5G and all this shit that's around us. And I do not have a victim mindset of being powerless to it.
Because that's the real control.
Correct.
See, that's what people don't understand. We get consumed by the information, not realizing that the information itself, whether true or not, is the actual poison. You see what I'm saying? Like, we have to learn how to siphon through all of that stuff. It's difficult, I understand, but the more you do it, the better you get at it, the more you see the plan laid out right in front of you. That's really what it comes down to.
And as emotional intelligence comes back to your consciousness and your awareness, and again, for those of you that already get it, then that's it. You know what I'm saying? This is literally for those that they know that there's a void right now. And there's actually confusion in a lot of areas. A lot of people on the internet and the social media world right now, they don't know where to go. They don't know which site to join. They don't know which new platform to jump to. They don't know whether they're going to, everyone's, I don't know.
That's why we got to create.
Correct. And, this is a very, we're starting over.
Correct.
I'm starting from scratch, starting brand new. And it is going to be, we have to start a brand new group, a brand new community, a brand new subculture in our faction, in our bubble where we're at. Everyone else that's on the outside of that is on the outside of that. They're doing their own thing. It's all good. We're all part of we're all on earth at the same level. But this shit being stuck in this cycle of what are we going to do? This is coming and drama. And then we only, the only way to get through it is that we make fun of it. You know what I'm saying? Which, again, I can relate and understand, and I'm not against it in no way. What I'm saying is that if we're getting stuck and trapped at plateaus and there's no growth and excelling, guess what? The future that's expected to come, we ain't going to be prepared for it. Or those people may not. I'm going to be prepared for it.
We have to operate on a mature consciousness. At the end of the day, when you get on the internet right now, you see people bickering. You see people who are in the business of exposing truth, bickering with each other. We can't, we're never going to succeed at affecting change in the world if that's the level that we're on, because we're so busy fighting each other that how are we going to fight the true oppressor? You know what I mean? And that's what we want to create, a place where none of that stuff exists anymore. No matter whether you have different opinions on different topics, that's great. Guess what? Everything through research is verifiable one way or another. So any rabbit hole you want to go down to, we can do that. But the first step is to eliminate the idea of, I know more than you, or superiority here, or you're too dumb, or you're this, or insulting each other because of each other's different beliefs. We have to bring each other in and unify, because as long as they've hijacked every one of these damn terms, you're a conspiracy theorist, anti-vaxxer, flat earther. I mean, we could go down the list of all of these terms that disengage and distract and do not allow people to focus on the true problem at hand. So we have to be better. And the only way that can start is here.
Right. And again, it has to be a level of those that are willing, wanting, and ready to be like proactively to change action and move direction towards this type of stuff. And there's only one way to do it, man, is to own your shit.
Correct.
That's really it.
We're not asking for violence either, by the way. Like when we say taking action, there's so many, this is about making the right choices. The same way, you make the right choices with your food. It's the same thing when it comes to this concept right here. We have to understand that it's on us, okay? Like the idea that we have been embedded, the concept has been embedded in society that as people, we can't control our own lives. So what do? We allow governments to control them, but yet governments are made up of people. So it's the same concept. We still allow people to run and control our lives, and these people aren't even us. So it's not like we're doing it for ourselves. We don't have our best interest. We would have our best interest. They have their best interest. And that's why the whole voting thing is such a sham, because 2 pills of poison, one kill you faster, one kill you slower. Which one are you taking? At the end of the day, we can't.
There's a guilt that comes with it on a lot of people. They feel like, and I get it, whatever. And I'm not even judging. It is what it is.
Oh, absolutely.
But you know what? Just to attach with what you're saying is that, right, all that shit you're doing is you're giving away the responsibility of your own life when you have it. When people run around like. It's different. If you're breaking something down to be strategic about some shit and you want to try to think about a solution for something, that's different. But if you're hearing about, bad news and shitty things that are happening in the world and all the drama and all the stress and all the things that are happening, if you're getting bombarded by all this stuff and you're like, oh my God, okay, so this is happening and this, well, what's the solution? The fact that your brain is freaking out and pleading and crying out, what's the solution? It's not coming from a place of like, all right, what's the solution?
Right. Haven't you ever heard the phrase that if you panic, things will only get worse? We can't let what's going on in the world overwhelm us in that sense. And I know it's difficult, especially when you're going down these rabbit holes and you're being exposed to this stuff for the first time. I can speak for both of us when I tell you we've both been through that. A long time ago, we've both been through that. We had a chance to decompress. We've had time. It's a little bit harder now with everything going on. I understand it seems like the timeline has been accelerated. The people waking up now are very convinced that we don't have much time. And I understand why they feel that way. But the reality is that there still needs to be that kind of decompression, because we have to, like Steve said from the beginning, the emotional intelligence aspect of this is so important. And if you come from a place of panic and fear, you will not make the right choices. And this is what happens. People freak out and then think they can run to some voting machine and cast a vote, and their subconscious mind feels like they might have done something to affect change, when you know damn well deep down inside you haven't done anything, because 238 years of the same system, Democrat, Republican, it doesn't fucking matter. Nothing has changed. Biden's been in office for 40 years. Nothing's changed. Trump, Same thing. No matter which one of them stay in office, we're going to get the same shit. So at the end of the day, we can't focus on that to be the solution. We have to take it on a much deeper level and understand that the solution has always been us. That's where it starts. And it always starts with you.
And the thing is, like, so like they think about it as like, you know, what does that even look like? And the thing is like, first of all, you already know what's gonna happen. It's like, well, what's gonna happen in the future? What's gonna happen in the future? You know that it kind of doesn't matter. You're gonna get through it, okay? I was born in the 80s, vaccinated, fed poisonous shit. All right, 90s, they introduced GMOs. I ate that shit. I was put on medications, Ritalin, Adderall, heavily vaccinated. Put on 504 programs in schools. The school system didn't even know about ADD and learning disabilities and shit really at that time. You know what I'm saying? I was put in all types of different things, taken to psychologists. I had my stomach all fucked up. They were bombarding me. I went through their fucking indoctrination system. I went through all their fucking poisonous music and their entertainment of mind control, and that shit came out. It didn't fucking take me out, bro. I'm still here.
That's right.
We're still here.
That's right.
Which means it doesn't fully work.
Correct.
So it's not about what's the solution, what are we gonna do, what are we gonna do? It's, if you're a mom, right? If you're a mom and you first have a kid, right? So like, and your kid is like, I don't know, in the 2-year-old, 3-year-old, right? Where they're mobile and they run around and do shit. Like, there's no real manual of what, you can plan for your day all you want, but guess what? When it's time to be a mom, you activate. And you be what the mom is.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? There's no manual for that. You are the solution. If you're some super Mr. Fix-It handyman guy and they send you a job and you got to fix this, this, and this, and then you get there and it's a shit show and a bunch of bullshit happens and no one warned you, what happens? What? You get through it and you handle it and you do what the fuck, you activate. And this is what, they've removed this type of self-awareness and self-confidence from us. Like, we're not gonna make it, we're not gonna get through it, and we're doomed to 5G towers, and fucking drones are gonna come in and crash through our kitchen and inject us with fucking nanotech vaccines and all this shit, and like, bro, like,
forced mandatory vaccines are gonna shove you in FEMA camps. People are gonna show up to your house in the middle of the night with guns and take you and your family and shove you in the back of a truck. Guys, none of that stuff can happen. You understand, right? It can't happen if we don't allow it to happen. Realize that. Like, we have all of the power. We've always had the power, which is why there's such an effort to manipulate us and control us and even entertain us to an extent. And now lock us down and keep us from each other and self-isolate and all this stuff, which by the way is CIA torture program 101. But it's like, why do you think they spend so much energy and money and time on this? Do you really believe they would do that if you weren't a threat? If they didn't understand the power that we possess? We're all binded by the same singular consciousness, and yet we fight because of the differences in our skin color or the differences in opinion. We all share the same consciousness. We were all born of the same consciousness. We're all divine creation. Our brains process information faster than any computer in the world. And yet they want to merge you with technology at some point. Why? Why do we even have these things? I mean, I understand why we're using it right now, but
right.
You know what I mean? Like, this should have never been a thing in the first place, is the point. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was letting you just hit it, you know what I'm saying? But no, but the thing is that, like, there has to be a new way of thinking, a new modality of thought, and a new, like...
And erase that victim shit.
Yeah, that's huge. Because guess what, man?
You can't be a victim if you don't want to be. At the end of the day, you cannot be a victim if you do not allow yourself to be. Simple as that. People will be like, that's not true. That what if you get attacked by someone? I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day...
Well, because the work, that's what we're getting at. Is that at the end of the fucking day, it is the fucking work, which is fucking hard. And many times unwelcoming and unwanted, but must be done. And that's the piece.
And realizing that our own poisonous train of thought and our own poisonous, toxic subconscious, because of all the programming, actually ends up leading to a lot of the things that happen to us that we look at as bad things, when in reality, like you said, a different modality, you might have different results, you might experience a different life, things could happen for you on a different scale. But remember, energy manipulation is a real thing, because they need you vibrating on a certain frequency, and that's where your life determines whether your life, whether you're gonna have bad things happen to you or good things happen to you, and it's based on what you believe. At the end of the day, it's based on how you feel about yourself, your self-dialogue, and the way that you view yourself in the world. So if you're full of things like insecurity, if you're full of things like doubt, what do you think you're going to recreate? What do you manifest in the world itself? What are you going to experience as a physical being? Because you're just a soul. You're just experiencing this. And the only way you can alter everything you experience by altering this up here, the way you perceive, altering your perspective, the way you believe, the way you feel about yourself, the way you speak to yourself. I mean, literally, you can transform everything in a short period of time if you can harness your emotional intelligence and put it behind a positive state of mind. It's incredible.
Big time. No. It's almost like, it's like we're almost like we're selling a product right now, because we have to. That's the funny thing, is that it's a responsibility for those that are aware. You have to show others their value.
Absolutely.
Because many people don't see it.
And society is trying to rip that away from you little by little.
It's not about what the fuck is going on your news feed. If I'm generalizing, but I'm being real. It's everyone's fucking news feed right now today. Right. Is all because it's all programmed heavily like that. There's systems designed to be. I mean, we're using their phones, guys. I mean, we can't be surprised.
Right.
Are you surprised that your shit got censored and sniped out, and your site got taken down, your channel got taken down? If you're in shock and you're surprised, yeah, I feel you. That sucks. But then, pull your big boy pants up and let's go and keep going. Because to be like, it's crying over spilled milk type shit, bro. Like, it's a matter of adapting onto some new shit, which is basically like the update with where we're at. Like I had opened up a Facebook group on Facebook, and I was even having trouble uploading little videos that I would make into the group, because it would mute some of the parts, or it would mute the entire video, or it wouldn't just let it upload it at all. So that was happening. So not only that, the activity on my Instagram page has been before all the shadow banning and shit came out. Like, my shit was already like in the fucking shitty algorithm trash bin, basically. But there has to be a whole new clean slate and a whole new start over. So like, one of the new things we're gonna be like, guess what? Yeah, we're jumping in the podcast mosh pit with the fuck. Because why? Because that's where the world of networking, community, and social networking is actually moving, bro. And when I say social networking, I want to use literally those words. Actually, networking in a social space, because that's another thing, man. Like, I'm been done with the childlike, immature behaviors by grown ass people.
Yep.
Okay. No one's perfect. He ain't perfect. I ain't perfect. We all got our shit, but we fucking work on them. Right. And if you're a grown ass person and you're showing up and showing nothing that you've worked on yourself, that's good. Peace out. I got nothing to do with you. I'm working only with those. We need to start over. That's just it.
We have to come from a place of love from the beginning. Like, think about it. We don't see that.
We don't, because it's right now. Everything that we're saying is coming from. This is just tough love. You know what I'm saying? Because motherfuckers need to be told. Like, I don't know what the fuck you guys think that you really, really still need to be going like super heavy in the streets for.
Right.
Okay. Because again, it's more external, pulling you out of the external. When there's so much demand right now for your internal.
Which is what they're truly trying to take from you.
Yeah.
And you're not you specifically, but in generally speaking, most of us are too busy out in the streets, not even understanding what we're doing. The idea that people can protest wearing masks, wearing shirts that say, "I can't breathe." Come on, folks. I mean,
and we ain't even taking shots at those that are there for the reason that you're there for. We support your reason why you're there, because it's patriotic and passionate. Right. Other than that, everything else is an agenda being slapped on our fellow brothers and sisters. So when we approach from this manner in this space, it is from a space of love, concern, and our intentions are from the heart. Right. It just ain't gonna come out very fucking pretty, because, bro, I'm at a point 11 years into this where this now needs, like I said, this needs a new transformational path for us to be on.
That's right. And so, just for the record, I'm not taking shots or judging anyone who goes to a protest wearing those shirts and those masks. What I'm saying is, the reason I bring that up is out of love, because it's a dangerous concept. It's a dangerous thing for people to do, is to wear shirts that say I can't breathe and wear a mask. Think about the message that will send to the subconscious mind. That's the point that I'm getting at. You are actually putting yourself at risk, because the subconscious mind doesn't understand reason. The reason you are out there doesn't understand that you are trying to be, that you're trying to stand for something. You're trying to make a point. All it understands is a person saying, I can't breathe, and putting on masks. Maybe these people want to have respiratory issues in the future. Understand, that's where I'm coming from. It's not a judgment on you. It's trying to help you understand that even things like this is dark occult magic being used on people. That's how this shit works. They
because
want
it's
you
repetition.
doing this.
It's repetition. It's always repetition, repetition, repetition. So it's being aware of how deep the deception is a whole discussion in itself, which is another reason why we're all here, because like at this level, there is a whole new a new layer that's been wrapped over conspiracy truth. So now you have this fucking blob of bullshit, noise, fake shit, random people with YouTube channels making whatever the fuck they want, no real research. Then you have actual psyop shit. Then you have real agencies putting in fake shit. Then you have natural and unnatural disinfo. People just naturally making a mistake and telling the wrong things. Oops, I told you to do this. It's such a mosh pit of fucking fuckery that people don't have a compass, because they're not in tune with themselves to know what filters into their subconscious and in their own true consciousness to make the decision of what feels right to them.
That's right. And they get so lost in it, they don't even know what information they actually want to know. So therefore, it leads to never doing any actual deep, verifiable research, which is why so many people will laugh off things that are absolutely true, and yet they'll laugh them off because they're so uncomfortable with the idea that they don't know themselves, that they can't even bring themselves to have the desire to know what it is that they actually want to understand. And they consume entertainment, sports, whatever else they use to fill that void. And that's where they do fill that void, they finally feel like they achieve something, and then they can move on and never have to do that deep research until the day comes where they start looking deep within themselves. Once they start figuring out who they are little by little, guess what? The desire for knowledge will eventually spring up, because it's just a natural growth of humans, of the human consciousness.
Right.
That's where it goes.
Yeah, that natural thirst for wanting to know the answers and wanting to know things, and that deeper sense of research. The deeper sense of research is actually your own mind body speaking to you, wanting you to go inward. However, we confuse that. I've confused it over the years.
Absolutely.
Where you look for it in external things, and this is where some of the conspiracy research will get you going down a rabbit hole. And even though you're learning educational things and informative stuff, and you are gaining information, the thirst for the true knowledge of what you were thirsting for is not being quenched or fulfilled.
Correct.
It's still in the external. So that's where it gets you kind of, because you are kind of getting some goodies, but at the very end, you're not getting the thing that you really, really wanted.
Right. We're trying to create the whole podcast thing is because we want to provide.
Did we already mention that?
Yeah, we did.
Okay,
we
my
did.
bad.
We're going to
Sorry,
start the podcast. It's not going to be just about conspiracies at the end of the day. If you know both of us, then yeah, you know that there's a lot of stuff is going to be talked about for sure. But it's more of a program to help people understand. It's more of like a foundational knowledge thing, because understanding conspiracies is great, and we will touch on all of that stuff, but understanding who we are and understanding who you are as an individual, understanding why we're here, how we're here, where we are, by the way, because when I say here, most people don't know where here is, even when we are, because people don't understand that either. We need to get that foundational knowledge understood. We need to understand history. You see what I'm saying? Because if we don't know the past, how can we know the future? Think about the people waking up today who are freaking out with all the stuff that they're learning, having no idea, for instance, pedophilia. People are actually waking up today thinking that this is some type of recent development in the world. This stuff has been going on since before any of us were ever born, just for the record. And pedophiles have been in office since before most of us were born, most certainly since before either one of us was born. And yet, we pretend like this is a new thing. And the reason why is because we're not doing the initial work. And that's where it starts. So it's like, the first thing you have to do is learn yourself. Go deep into the self. And then once we do that, everything else becomes not necessarily
because
easily accessible.
Because what's happening is that now that the internet and social media and all these channels and everything has been flooded so much that now there's so many rabbit holes now. Most of them aren't even really official rabbit holes. But anyway, so Joe Schmo down the street, you know what I'm saying, can find a rabbit hole on something like, I don't know, like, for example, the pedophilia shit, or it could be something crazy. It could be 5G shit. It could be, and it's going to be
anything.
And it'll be most likely, especially if it's like a recommendation flooding into his thing, which is PSYOP controlled by fucking AI algorithms from the CIA alphabet boys and Google and everything else. So it's feeding him that shit. And he's gonna look at the recommended shit, and it's gonna be it's gonna be the fake version of it. Right. Like that's why the whole thing with flat Earth gets so destroyed, because most people are arguing actually with the flat Earth PSYOP, right, and not the geocentric cosmology. Right. It's two separate things. So, right, that's a whole other conversation in itself, but that's just another example of that. Things are being represented and shown to us as first impression in very, very poor, shitty, fucked up,
manipulated ways. Yeah. It's meant for you to cast it off as complete lunacy, because the two words, flat Earth, I mean, come on, it's almost as if they know that it's almost like they knew that we would reject those two words, because immediately you think of edges and you think of how can the Earth be flat? Like it's almost like it doesn't really make much sense. Yeah. But then when you realize it's actually a geocentric model that they're discussing, which was accepted for over 800 years by all of civilization, by the way, and you do the research on that, you start to realize that it's not a flat Earth at the end of the day, and that the reason that they call it that is so that you never imagine if they use the term geocentric model. Imagine what that people can't laugh off things they don't understand. People understand the word flat Earth, they see it as a complete ridiculous statement, so they're able to laugh it off. If you come to someone and say geocentric model, well, that's a scientific term. Most people have never heard it. So they're going to look at it and, well, they can't laugh it off. They don't understand it. So it's more of an intrigue. Well, what is the geocentric model? And that's how they keep you from even going to look for it, by creating some other name for it and casting it off. Conspiracy theorists is a great one too, which,
and that, well, that's the thing. So conspiracy theorist is now anti-vaxxer, flat earther, I don't know. I think even vegan in some cases.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
These words are now conspiracy theorists now. Right. That's what the new term, like, so now they have multiple, it's not just conspiracy theorists, which was one term that they had to use, and they had that was just their main vehicle, and they could deter things in media.
And for the record, if you're aware of the term conspiracy theorist at all, okay, and you're aware of something called the Warren Commission, I want to go read that up, because if you do the research on JFK's assassination, you will understand that they didn't necessarily invent the word, but they sure as hell put the meaning behind it. They sure as hell used it to deter people from trying to question the actual events of JFK's assassination. So at the end of the day, if they covered it up, if they used it initially to cover up truth, I mean, what do you think they've been doing with it ever since? I mean, it's so easy to cast things aside now as a conspiracy, and people just, nah, that's conspiracy. That's conspiracy. What do you mean? You know how many people have been charged with conspiracy? To conspire to do something is a real thing. It's not that hard. People conspire to do things every single day. And if you think the most powerful people in this world won't conspire against you and me because we're just normal people, we're just goy to them, that's naive.
Right.
It's naive thinking.
That's the elementary level. And that's kind of what I was saying, is that, like, there just needs to be this big boy shit level, which is where things need to be at a at least that's where we feel where it should be at, So like us creating the new website, having I want the website to be like a new website portal, basically, to have 24-hour documentaries playing. We'll have we'll be working on new podcast shit, new video content.
But real shit. We're not having coronavirus documentaries playing.
Yeah.
Just so you guys understand that. We're you know what I'm saying? It's going to be real shit. History, people who we have used to research. We don't. People are always like, how do you know so much? Or how do you memorize these names and stuff? And we were just talking about this earlier. Man, listen, you have to want to do this stuff. You have to want to know things. Like, when you really want to know something, we have the internet, folks. Like, it isn't that hard. You can become an expert in something almost overnight, and almost anything you want, as long as you have the desire to do so. And if you can take notes and you can figure it out, there's literally no subject in the world that you cannot dive into.
That's right. Yeah.
That's just the
real.
truth. You
The
know
fact that we're living in the world right now with the access to the, we could sit. Look, I could jump into any conversation to easily just be to discuss how damaging the EMF levels are from these devices and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I'm no fool. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. But at the same time, it's the yin yang. This is the double whammy. We have these devices, we have to use them,
Right.
and this is where we're at. We're still in the system at this level. Listen, if you're someone that's out there and you're living off the grid, chances are you're not even watching this fucking video.
Of course not.
You know what I'm saying? So
And
like,
good for you.
yeah, straight up.
Good for you.
But for those of us that are in this shit, you know what I'm saying, and do need to hear the new perspective and do need to understand that there is this new fucking wave that is coming in, but we don't need to be at the whims of it. At the end of that, we go in. We're still fucking creators. We're still co-creators with ourselves. But again, this has to come back to a realization that, oh shit, I need to stop doing all this shit out here, paying attention to all this shit out here, and actually start to fucking work on myself. What does that even look like? It's different for every fucking person. That's the whole thing. Everyone's fucking unique. Everyone's problems is different. Everyone's things are different. Everyone's owning your shit. When you own your shit, that means everything comes back into your favor. Everything comes right back to you. All the power, all the control, all the shit. You're not going to know exactly what to do yet. Some of you may will. Those of you that know exactly what to do, go for it. Right. Most of y'all won't though. And so all the power is going to come back to you once you own your shit. Meaning, meaning it's not your fault that so-and-so treats you like shit. Huh? Yeah, that's right. It's not the government's fault that this and this happened to you. What the fuck are you talking about? The government's fucking us every day. These are beliefs, bro. These are the programs. You know what I'm saying? Yes, there is a group that is instrumentally trying to take over this earth and whatnot. But guys, we're here doing video fucking, you can still go out and eat and like, bro, like you're breathing, you're living, you're still with your family. Like, listen, those of us that are fortunate enough to be in this position need to really, really start leaning more into their fucking modesty, humility, and gratitude. Right. Okay? Like, for real. Not everybody is in these positions.
Right, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, one of the reasons that, if not the reason, that I personally have not fucked off and gone off the grid somewhere is because both of us feel that we have an obligation. And it's not just myself and Steve who have this obligation. It is all of us who have this obligation because the future is up to us. And the only way to affect change for the future is to focus on the present. When people say they're so scared about the future, you have to understand that if you can focus on the present, then you can have an effect on the future because the future's not here right now. But what is here right now is the present. And that's the only thing that we can focus on. That's the only thing. So we have to come together. We need to create that area where we can come together. People can feel comfortable coming together without judgment, without everything that comes with what you see today.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's one of the lines I'm crossing that I'm drawing with the growth thing. Like, if you're still at that little fucking kid shit level, bickering, fighting, worrying about other people's things and what they did and da-da-da and fucking all that shit, I'm not even concerned.
Yeah, once we get rolling, by the way, we're not having this conversation again.
That's also very true. That's also very true.
This is why we're doing this right now.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all beginning stages shit and whatever. Right. But the thing is that as we do build and as we do grow, we do welcome and invite those that do really want to be strongly committed to building and growing something that they really, really do see as a big possible vision and a happening that can be beneficial for those of us in this realm of thought. I'll be real with you, like, it's not about for us. It's not about like penetrating into the mainstream. To be real with you,
no, we don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's not.
We don't want to do that. First of all, there's no way to safely do that. Let's be honest.
Exactly. Exactly. So you don't beat the devil by sitting in his chair playing his own game with his own toys and
absolutely
right. So, but the people that do want to be a part of this, actually stepping up and contributing in a way that allows them to feel fulfilled and feel valued and feel that they're actually able to give back and contribute and not feel so isolated, so alone, so disconnected from everybody, wanting to give, wanting to do something, wanting to change, not feeling like enough is going on around them. They're probably right because they need more. That's good. That means they're thinking bigger. They're not settling. So at least you're at some level, you know what I'm saying? Because everyone's at different levels with this shit. But there is this fucking line that I ain't having if you have no composure and know how to fucking activate responsibility for your behavior and emotions, I have nothing to do with you.
Emotional intelligence is one of the most important, if not the most important trait a human can. It's one of the things that they try to take away from us so early in life. And if you think about it, think about how many people overreact or underreact to things. I mean, it's incredible, the things I will see. And I'm sure everybody has their own personal story where they've dealt with somebody who's had an emotional episode, including yourself. And that's one of the things, like when we let one of these emotions take over, we alter everything about our vibrational frequency. And that's why they want you on these think about the fact that everyone is stressed out all of the time. You know, I remember hearing a story from Joe Dispenza about how deers, when they are not being hunted by predators, they're constantly grazing, right? And the only time they go into fight or flight mode is when they sense danger. And once they get free from that danger, they go right back to grazing. And that's why most animals, as you see, animals do not develop terminal illnesses. And it's because their bodies are not in a constant state of stress. Let's compare that to the human. We are all constantly running from some invisible predator, because we're always, whether you're sitting on your couch watching television, you're worried about a million things. And this is how everybody's mind operates. We're just, while we sleep, we worry about things. And the more we worry about things, the more our body technically is decaying itself.
Right, because it's not being released. You know,
Right.
like back to the animal thing, you know, I'll even add another one in there is like ducks. Like when they're in like their lake or whatever, the pond, and like the territorial, an invasive duck comes in, and this one, they actually get in a little scuffle. It happens just really quick. They both like quack at each other, and then the other guy goes away, and he goes back into his territory. But here's the interesting thing is that when they're done separately away from each other, they flutter out their wings. They flap their wings out because they have surplus, negative energy still running in them. So they transmute it. They know it has to be released.
Look at that. They can't hold it up.
They don't want it to. Yeah.
And my original point with the deer was that as people, most of us never go back to grazing, which means being in the present moment and enjoying the present moment for what it is. People think they're in the present, but just because you're in the present physically doesn't mean you are in the present here. If you're worried about a million things, you're not in the present. If you're thinking about a million different things, you're not in the present. And that in itself is one of the reasons why, as a society, we are so sick. We are so sick because people cannot go back to grazing. And if you're never grazing, imagine spending your whole life in that stressed out emotional state. Imagine the repercussions on your organs, on your cells, on everything, on your mind, on your body physically. I mean, we have to take control of that. And that's why we say there is a line.
And that's why when they're like, so like someone would be like, oh, all this, then they'd be like, what's the solution, right? And that's when it's like, back to the thing, own your shit, meaning, oh, wow, I'm sick. I need to start making changes. Right. What is it? You start with one fucking thing. And that's your fucking coronavirus. Right. That's your voting. Right. That's your world problems. Right. That's your stress. That's your shit.
We gotta stop casting off the solutions to other external, external puppets that aren't helping us. Right, and whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, the solution has always been within you. And that's where it's always going to be, folks. And that's what they're trying to take away from us. Look at the world. Look where it's headed. Look at where it's headed. People still don't have a backbone. Back in the day, you couldn't be a treasonous politician. You just couldn't. I mean, if there was even a hint that you were rolling around with secret societies or you were conspiring to do something that wasn't in the benefit of the people, they would show up to your house with pitchforks and torches and hang you. It was that simple. What did they do? They created corporations, they created indoctrination centers, which is just the educational system. They created companies, they created governments, they created all of this external layered bullshit where they can hide all their crap, and then they use that to rip away our strength, our spine, and our backbone.
Cultural, ideological subversion, by the way.
Right, exactly. And it's all through, well, now you gotta fight them through litigation. You can no longer go and hang somebody, right, for committing treason, because you can't even prove that they're committing treason because everybody else in the damn government is committing treason. So how are we as people, which according to the Constitution, we have the right to protect ourselves against them, how are we supposed to do that? How are we supposed to do that in today's day and age? There's only one way. The one way is to eliminate that fear. How do you eliminate that fear? You go within. Once you go within and we're able to eliminate the fear and we're able to unify on that singular consciousness.
Then they can't control us with fear. And
guess who's got the fear then? Because we outnumber them by the millions, right? I mean, come on. It's incredible. These people, why do you think they use us to go to war? Do you think these people like confrontation? Do you think they like conflict? Do you think they want all of society against them? Absolutely not. That's why they sedate the fuck out of us, bro. And that's why we need to wake up from this coma. We are in a coma, folks. As a society, we're in a coma. I know there's some of you who aren't. People have woken up. I get it. But it doesn't matter because as long as, listen, people can evolve consciously as much as they want as individuals. What they fear the most is the unification of a collective consciousness. That's what they fear the most because that is the only way for people and us as society to truly flourish and to grow beyond the need of an oppressive system. That's the only way that that can happen. And that's why they keep us from the unification because God knows that if love is what was perpetuating throughout the country and the world instead of hate and division, these people could not control us. They would be arrested. No punches would be thrown, not a single shot would be fired. They'd be arrested. It would be simple as that, and it would be done with, and we can start anew.
Or they would just disappear on their own and not even want to fuck with us because there's no, you know what I'm saying? But like, but you know, like on our way to that, right? Like, people need to really be clear with where they want to see themselves coming up, and they cannot base it. You cannot base it. That's right. I'm saying it. You cannot base it on all the bullshit that you're seeing, because then you're creating a future based on the things are coming and all this shit and the drama and the what am I really stressed and all the bullshit that's got them all fucking victimized. Therefore, they're planning a future in the limitations of the fears that they had, and they're not allowing themselves. Keyword allowing themselves, because that's a practice in itself, believe it or not. Learning how to fucking allow things. Yeah, talk about shadow work and spirituality, whatever. That's a little journey in itself. They're not allowing themselves to truly tap into full neuroplasticity and full conscious expansion of themselves to actually go beyond what they would actually doubt. I can't possibly see myself living like that. I can't possibly have that money. I can't possibly be finally out of this living condition. I can't possibly find someone that I can't possibly, blah, blah, blah. Those are you're bashing yourself with a hammer. That's the good news. Why would that be good news?
Because you can change it.
Thank you. You're in control of the damn hammer. You could just, it'd be different if someone else was doing it and I couldn't stop them. That'd be a whole fucking situation. We have this control in us, but it only happens when we, not just having the awareness, when we finally choose to be willing to actually go and give this shit a try. Because if you haven't been doing it and this is brand new to you, this is a scream for your attention. This is hugely asking for you to put your energy in this area. Because let's say if you have a family, right? Shout out to those who have kids and are dealing with what they're dealing with while taking care of a family and having kids, right? Like, if you ain't okay and you're not good in your mind, in yourself, in your body, in your spirit, okay? And you go about your day operating at 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, you never get a chance to get healed, replenished, balanced, harmoniously return yourself, replenish yourself, get yourself right to where you're operating at 100, 120, 150%, right? That's where we want to be, and we want to sustain at that level.
Optimization.
Correct. And if we're showing up for our kids and our family and our loved ones at 30%, 40%, well, that means you're faking the rest of it, and you're just showing up as this front imposter person just to get through interactions with the people that you love. They don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. That's not.
But in order to be there for those people 100%, you got to be there for yourself 100% first.
Right. And there's a saying that's like, in figuratively speaking, yeah, you could say something crazy like, like someone that's like, oh, I always put my kids first, which I get that from the heart perspective. But in the grand scheme of things, you actually want to put yourself first. Because if your kids and your loved ones always first, you're going to deplete. And then you won't even be able to show up for them anymore in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So that might go, that's like you'll burn out in a short run, But again, like this is just to lay just a beginning basic groundwork on where we're at and what we're trying to do, because we are going to get the website going. We are working on a new website portal. We are going to be doing more videos currently as we start to shift and move over to the website.
And we're going to expand into podcasting.
Yeah, we'll be in the podcasting.
Create a community hub.
Yeah, and we want to have people connecting to us and have everybody being connected in a healthy way.
And we want to connect with you. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
we learn the same way that you guys learn. You know, we learn from people all the time. We can still have our differences and still learn from one another. That's the point, that we have to, love has to be, you know, the reason for things. That's just where it comes from. Consciousness, the definition of consciousness is just awareness. That's really all it is. When people say, oh, you're so conscious. No, you're just aware. That's what it is. And the first place that you need to seek awareness is awareness of the self. Once you get that, once you understand that, then you can expand that awareness into the rest of the world, and that's where the consciousness comes from. That's why people call it being awake, even though the word woke has been hijacked like everything else, but there's still an awakening process that we all have to go through.
Right, because it's the work. No, you're 100%. No, it is. It's the work, and it's that is the practice. No one wants to hear this. People would be like, wait, are you kidding me? I'm getting fucked at my job. I got this bullshit going on outside. The government's doing this. People are screaming at me online. I got to deal with my family with this and that. Da 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 da. Like, notice everything I said is outside of you.
Right. And ironically, being worried about all that exterior stuff actually poisons you inside.
Correct.
So little by little, you're just deteriorating.
Correct. So a lot of us do need to be, listen, me and this guy don't have all the damn answers. All right. We know that. Okay.
The more you know nothing.
Correct. And, but we do have answers for those that are ready to receive new understandings, new teaching, new education. And like you said before, we also learn from each other as well. There has to be a new family, a new community, has to start over. And, I'm going to do we're going to set up a Zoom call, a Zoom meeting thing. We're going to do that first. Because as we progress, we'll get better user-friendly interfaces and equipment and things like that. Yeah, we're having equipment on the way.
And we'll basically evolve as this stuff rolls on.
Of course. So that is probably going to go on this week. And
we want as many people to be a part of it as possible. So,
Yeah, and the current Facebook page is weird right now. I'm actually, now that I'm thinking about it in this video, I'm actually going to go live. I'm going to do a live on my main account, because I also have to see how blocked it is as far as, the social media presence and my algorithms and how the fuck they've got me set up right now and who really sees my shit and who I really reach and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that's really where it's at. So it'll be the Zoom meeting. I'll release all that shit. All this is going to be basically via just Facebook right now and maybe Instagram.
Once we get the platform running with the website, we will switch everything over.
Yeah, we'll eventually be pretty much off these social media platforms.
Absolutely.
Maybe just like...
look, we're going to drop stuff on here just to reach people, but we're going to be doing... Most of our predominant work will be done on our website and our own platform. And then we encourage people to join us there so that we can have that platform, to have the true freedom of speech that we're all entitled to through the Constitution. Because let's face it, we don't have that right now in today's world with fact checking and all this bullshit that's going on social media.
And guess what? And we also encourage you to look. Fuck these social media sites, bro.
Right, exactly.
Go make your own shit and listen. While we still have the internet, while we still got the internet, right? Like, because once that's gone, then we're back to like, what? I'm gonna send a raven and have a dude ride on a pony to deliver a fucking message, like.
Which is funny he brings that up. Actually through the Napoleonic Wars, they were actually able to manipulate both sides of the war by spreading misinformation strictly through carrier pigeon. If they can manipulate information through a carrier pigeon, what the hell do you think they can do with the internet? Let's put some perspective behind it.
Visual psycho
and
magic.
Television and the budgets that all these corporations, for instance NASA, think about the budget that they have. It's insane. They can make us believe anything they want at this point, and we have to take control of that information. Information is sacred, and we're letting them not only manipulated and dominated, but it's going to get to a point where truth is going to be very hard to find very soon.
I would think you would agree. We're there right now.
Absolutely. No, we are definitely there, but I'm saying it can get even worse than
Right,
it
right,
currently
right.
is.
No, I mean, like, well, no, like for the average person, right?
Right.
Like when they go look up something,
Right.
oh, they're fucked.
Right,
They're
right,
fucked. They are getting fucking distorted, polluted, fucking.
Especially using Google and things like search engines like that.
You're done.
You
If
know?
you don't have the skill on how to research,
Right.
you're
It's
gonna
not a-
you're
it
gonna
is a
get
skill,
tricked. Yeah,
right?
no,
It
it
is a
is.
skill. And another one they've taken from us, by the way. Think about how many people don't know how to do verifiable research. It's pretty intense. Yeah, it's pretty intense. Read books, people. Read books. Just fuck off so like you said, fuck social media. Listen, Instagram does not make you a scholar in conspiracies. I don't give a fuck how many memes you see.
It's true.
Facebook is the same shit. By the way, Facebook is a CIA creation. It's literally used as a weapon against us. So as much as we've used it in the past in order to spread our message, we did that fully aware that we've also painted ourselves as targets. Don't get it twisted. They organize people in specific groups, and they know who knows what, and they know who's a threat, and they know who isn't, they know who might be a threat in the future. They have all these algorithms played out. They show you this type of shit. Captain America, Winter Soldier in the film, when they kidnapped that dude that works for S.H.I.E.L.D., and he's talking about how Arnim Zola worked out an algorithm to determine who's going to be a threat down the line in the future. Once again, Hollywood showing you more of the reality. This
Minority
is real.
Report,
Right?
predicting who's bad based off their perceived behavior when they haven't even committed that.
And how do you think they figure that stuff out? It's based on everything you post on social media, everything we post, everything we say, every interaction we have in the internet, the things we search, our search history. It's like literally they encompass it all, and they create this hub. And it's like, okay, this person doesn't know shit, no threat, cast them off in this box. And then they literally organize us differently according to the type of information that we seek out. That's so we're being all compartmentalized and then being made to fight each other, because it's very easy once you can put people in certain boxes. It's very easy to make flat earthers fight round earthers. It's very easy to make meat eaters fight vegans. It's very easy to start manipulating all of these little interdisciplinary social wars, and then nobody's paying attention to the actual perpetrators, the people who really do send us off to war, to die, so that they can continue to push whatever they want.
It's 2020. If you're still fighting on the internet, in the comment section.
Yeah, time to grow up. It's time to grow up. Especially because most people would never, like, the shit that I see on Instagram and the way people treat each other, it's a joke. Most people wouldn't do that in the real world, number one.
That's very true.
And number two, it's like, why do so many people come from a place of superiority? I see it all the time. Listen, I don't care how much you know. Nobody's superior to anybody else. We're just all at a different level of understanding. That's all it is. We all have the same potential. We can all reach the same potential. So the idea that I may know more than someone that makes me better than them or superior to them is ridiculous. And that thought process actually demeans you. And it actually makes you inferior to that person that you so think you were superior to.
That is heavy. You know why? Because here's something that no one's going to like to hear. This is what happens, though, believe it or not, when you refer to people as sheeple or idiots.
Or crazy.
Or libtard, flat-tard, Q-tard, globe-tard, this tard,
people
that
is the
tard.
worst thing you can do.
Like, that is a huge reveal of who you really are.
Absolutely. It's a huge self-reflection.
If you're really still at the level of name-calling, at that level, like, totally just flashing off your insecurities, like, there's people like me and myself see right through it. Maybe others don't because they have their own issues, but I see right through motherfuckers like that.
Absolutely.
And I actually feel bad for them. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that they actually find a way on their path where something shakes them up to where they do start activating themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I wasn't perfect. This kid wasn't perfect. We fucking been working on ourselves for years.
And I used to be that person. I used to make fun of people on Instagram. I used to do all of that. We all go through our levels. We all reach our growth differently. But it comes a time when we have to grow out of that childish mind state and understand that doing shit like that is just, it's part of the problem. It's going to continue to push the division. We need to help each other grow, educate one another, and like form our opinions so that it's not based on a hateful ideology where it's like, well, I know this and you don't, or I know that.
Right.
That stuff needs to be erased. We need to come from a place of love and learn and grow together. And we can have differences. We work them out. Listen, like I said at the beginning, any topic you want to research, There's plenty of information out there. We can find out what's true if we dig hard enough, but that's the point. We got to do that together, regardless of what we think about that specific topic going in. All right, it's not like everything I've ever heard, I just believed it off the top of my, right off the bat. A lot of things that I have heard, I laughed off at the beginning. You know what I mean? For Christ's sake, 9/11, I didn't even figure that one out, until maybe a year or two after it happened. But obviously, I was a kid back then. But that's my point. We don't always know immediately. Sometimes it takes a little bit of reflection.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. The moment you revisit all the childhood stuff that was taught to you when you were a kid, and you revisit that stuff with your new grown adult brain, you have you end up having a nice little reality check of there was some extra Santa Clauses lurking in the back of your mind you forgot about.
Yeah.
And there's some removing that needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we want to bring this video to a conclusion with the fact that this is actually all really, really, really good news. Like me and him right now, we're in a zone right now. We're kind of getting serious because we give a fuck. Right. Straight up. It's because we give a fuck. Right. We've been here long enough. We've been here for years. Many others as well. We're not speaking out only for us, but we can only technically speak for ourselves because that's the whole thing. We encourage others, expand your level of activity. Meaning if you're just posting on the internet memes or something, well, level up to
informational videos.
A video of yourself. Yeah, exactly. Right. And do some shit. And if you're already doing that, then you need to level up that. And if you're already no
matter what you're doing, you need to get to the next level.
Correct.
We cannot continue to sit around wait for somebody else to do something. This is why me and him have decided to take a stand and put forward some type of action, because we can't sit around and think, hey, you know what? Somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to do it. No, you know who's going to do it? You're going to do it.
Correct.
We're going to do it. It's the only way. You want something done, you got to do it yourself. And the fact that we sit around waiting for someone to come save us, it's another victim mentality. We got to get through that. We have to save ourselves. It's the only way. How do you save other people? You start with yourself, and we keep going down the line. We can touch so many people. We can change. Look at the world. All right, you go back 20 years ago. Look at where plant-based nutrition, how far that's come. Look at how far the corruption scandals. Look at how far research has come. People are now openly know and understand so much more than we did back then. So as much as the internet has been a weapon of division, it's also been a weapon of information. We have been granted a massive tool, and we have to continue to use this as long as we still can in the proper form, so that we can all connect these like minds and truly start the proper revolution, a conscious revolution, not a revolution of stupidity and violence. Nobody's going to war with the police, bro. Nobody's going to war with the military. We're not. How are we capable? They have governments, they have armies. We'd get wiped out in a second. They wouldn't even waste a single life. It would all be drones and robotic fucking computers that could kill you from 10 miles away without raising a finger. We need to do this consciously. We need to revolt in a way of changing the way that people view the world and view each other, and bringing that unified love together to bind everybody on that singular consciousness and move forward in that way. And then we cast out all the dark forces, because light is going to cast out the darkness. As long as you keep bringing it towards it, it will leave. If you take a flashlight and you walk into a dark room, what happens? As long as you keep walking with that flashlight, where do you go? Everywhere you put that light, the darkness goes away, right? So as long as you flash light, the darkness will eventually supersede, but we have to continue pushing that light in the proper direction, and we have to form together to create that light.
If that message wasn't channeled, I don't know what was. I'll see y'all on the internet. Peace.
Mad love, bro.